So while the whole world was focusing on the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, did you know that Ukraine has been fighting Russia also in Africa? Yes, this report that's coming out from Russia shows us that Ukraine's drones are in Africa in quite a few countries. As a matter of fact, Russia's representative to the United Nations has said in his statement few days ago. Let me just read that to you. Now, first of all, the report comes from SOMP. SOMP it's a Russian abbreviation for Officers Union for International Security. Okay. Now, the Russian ambassador or the Russian mission to the UN called for an investigation into Ukraine's subversive activities in Africa. Now, the statement reads like this, okay? So according to the ambassador, he is saying, the UN has to be concerned on what Ukraine is doing in Africa. He has named 5 countries actually in which these Ukraine drones are supplied to militant groups. Look, now he is the acting permanent representative of Russia to the UN. His name is Dmitry Polyansky. He stated that there is evidence pointing to the involvement of Ukrainian intelligence services in subversive activities in Sahel countries and other regions of Africa. The diplomat made the remarks during the UN Security Council meeting on terrorist threats. The press service of the Russian mission to the UN has reported on this. Now, this is how his statement read, quote, "In this context, particular attention should be paid to the actions of the Kiev regime on the African continent. There are concrete factors clearly indicating that Ukrainian intelligence services, including the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense, are engaged in subversive activities in Sahel countries and other regions of Africa. They supply militants with weapons and drones, train them in their use, coordinate the action of terrorists, including the so-called Group for the Support of Islam and Muslims in Mali, and deploy trained mercenaries to act against local governments. All of this requires a thorough international investigation with the involvement of the UN, the United Nations competent mechanisms." Quote close. Now, the ambassador of Russia to the UN also said during his remark to the UN Secretary General 21st report on the threats, that's posed in international peace and security. Now, his statement goes on also saying all of this requires a thorough international investigation with the involvement of UN's competent mechanisms. So, the question is, will the United Nations Security Council give an ear to this statement by the Russian ambassador? I don't think so. The act of Ukraine sponsoring terrorists in the Sahel region is not the first time that it's coming to the attention of the United Nations Security Council. You know what? Mali has done it. The countries have done it. Burkina Faso also is the government. During his interview, Captain Ibrahim Traore has said these Western countries have to stop sponsoring terrorist groups. And Russia also, besides the Sahel countries, Russia is not the first time saying this. You all remember, it was actually last year, Mali has captured with a picture of Ukrainian mercenaries in Mali fighting side by side with the terrorist groups. Okay, these were captured by a picture, and Mali has exposed it. And guess what? During that time, did you know what what we have heard from the Kiev government? Here is what the Ukrainian ambassador in Senegal, sitting there in the Sahel region, just in the neighboring country next to Mali, said this on their Facebook page. Okay, let me just pull that out. Hopefully I can, if I can get it. Now look, the Ukrainian ambassador, he was summoned to Senegal's foreign ministry over support for terrorists in Mali, because when that showed, he put a picture of terrorist groups claiming some kind of victory, and he put it as a support, as showing their support in the Facebook page of the Ukraine embassy. And due to this, Senegal saying we are not entertained this, he was summoned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs there. Now, in that statement, look, when he was summoned, this is what Senegal said. The Minister of African Integration and Foreign Affairs was surprised to learn the publication on Facebook page of the Ukrainian embassy. Actually, look, this statement was by the Ukraine. Let me say this. The Senegalese foreign ministry has summoned the Ukrainian ambassador to Dakar, Yuri Pivovarov, over a video about the support for terrorists in Mali posted on the Ukrainian embassy Facebook account. The Senegalese foreign ministry has said this is reported by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Senegal. It reads like this. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of African Integration and Foreign Affairs was surprised to learn of the publication of on the Facebook page of the Ukrainian embassy in Dakar of a propaganda video of the Ukrainian army, accompanied by a comment by the Ukrainian ambassador himself, who expressed unequivocal support for the terrorist attack perpetrated between 25 to 27 July 2024 in northern Mali by Tuareg rebels and members of the support group for Islam and Muslims against the armed forces of Mali, which resulted in significant civilian casualties. The ministry sent this communique, Senegal, showing that no, we are not going to support, you are not going to sit here in our territory and say that. So with that, of course, Senegal has demonstrated its solidarity with Mali, and the Ukrainian ambassador was, of course, reminded of the strict instruction he had to familiarize himself with and adhere to, given the seriousness of the mission, the Senegalese ministry said. So the thing is that, how much disrespectful you're sitting in one country and you are supporting these terrorist groups which are engaged in fighting, destabilizing a government, a sovereign country in Mali. I mean, who do you think you are? But it shows you that much how Africa is seen in the eyes of Ukraine. Those of you who are supporting Ukraine, who are saying this and that, like in a conflict that's not even yours, that you are dragged just to release a statement. Look at what this Ukrainian ambassador is saying. Now, Ukraine's engagement has continued. There are 5 countries, definitely, where they are operating: Sudan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, Mali, and Chad. This is backed with evidence, but also they are stretching with other countries in the region, like terrorist groups sponsoring terrorist groups in Burkina Faso, Somalia, Libya. So they are all over, definitely. You know how they come, in terms of investment, this and that. Sometimes it could be also pressure from the Western countries, for African countries to open door for Ukraine. It comes in various forms. So this is something that we should pay attention and, try to be a voice, because otherwise it's not the mainstream media is not going to come and tell you that, oh, the Ukrainian drones and this security, so-called secure intelligence service or whatever is operating in Africa. No, they're not going to tell you that, because Ukraine is their proxy to fight Russia, just like what the United States is taking a proxy in Africa to fight China. So this is what's happening. The United States is fighting China in terms of, this is an economic war. And then with Russia, they don't have investment so much in Africa, but they do help a lot in terms of security to African governments who are, multinational, whose relationship is defined as multinational, and and also those of them who are also aligned just to the South-South relation, global relation. So we should pay attention and, magnify this, their voice, and see where it goes. But thank you very much for tuning in. That was it for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.